Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me. My book is about to be released, and I thought I would take us kind of down a stroll down memory lane. I was going through a box of old, like, nostalgia, memory box types of things a while back, and I found a bunch of old stories, books that I wrote when I was in elementary school, and I haven't really looked through them. I just kind of looked at the ones that were like most intact and had maybe some dates on them. So I thought we'd take a look at these together and kind of explore and see what kind of a writer I was back in the 80s. Here we go. Okay, buckle up, because here it is. We have The Case of the Missing Matchbox Car by me, Scott Barrett, illustrated by SB. That's me. And I remember in fourth grade when I wrote this that I was just block letters, like writing in block letters was a huge deal. So to be able to do that, if you could have the skill of writing in block letters, people sought you out like, hey, can you do some block letters for me? So yeah. I think this puts the short in short story, because this is only 2 pages, a page and a half long. Page and a half long. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so it's once upon a time there were 2 detectives named Scott and Darren. I think Darren was my buddy in 4th grade. We sat next to each other. And they were the best of friends on their block. They solved cases from A to Z. But I'm going to tell you about their toughest case. It was Monday, July 10th, 1:05 p.m. We were playing on my tire swing when Darren said, "I'll show you my new Matchbox car." So he went in and he got his car. "See, isn't it cool?" I said, "Yes, it sure is. Now let's go over to your house." And we did. We rode bikes for a long time. And then Darren said, "I can't find my car." I knew it. Another case. We searched everywhere. There's the tire swing there. But we couldn't find it. We even looked in all of our secret hiding places. I then remembered an important clue. I said to Darren, "Remember the car?" "Yes," said Darren. "Did you ever put it away?" "No." "Aha, open your hand." "Hey, a car." Well, like I said, another tough case. Oh boy. It was thrilling. DNS, Darren and Scott. All right. Yeah, that's the case of the missing Matchbox car. 1982. My first book. Let's see what else we got. All right. It's 1984, and we have 007 and the Tiger Emerald. And this is a choose-your-own-adventure book. And this is longer. This is a bunch of pages of varying length. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to read it all. But maybe we'll take a couple of spins through here and see where we end up with 007 and the Tiger Emerald. Okay, what do we got here? You are James Bond 007 on a mission to recapture the Tiger Emerald from Russian intelligence. Oh, look at that. The Tiger Emerald has enough power to shrink the Eiffel Tower so it could fit in a bread box. You begin your mission by traveling on A, an airplane, turn to page 4. An ocean cruiser, turn to page 2. A rowboat, turn to page 3. Oh boy, decisions. What should we do? Maybe we'll do ocean liner. Let's see where that takes us. Page 2, here we go. You board your ocean liner only to find that it's made out of tinfoil and the ship is waterlogged and it's sinking fast. If you decide to swim to shore, jump into the water, take a lifeboat. Well, when I was 12 or 11, I wasn't the best swimmer, and I wouldn't want to jump in the water. I'll take the lifeboat. Let's go to page 6. Page 6 here. Let's see, what do I got? Oh, on the edge of my seat here. 6. All right, you hop on a lifeboat and safely make it to shore. You are now in Munich, Germany, Adolf Hitler's hometown. Oh, brother. If you decide to take a bus to the remaining mile. Take the bus the remaining miles to the USSR. Go to 14. You check Hitler's diary about the Tiger Emerald, or if you take an airplane. Oh, geez. Let's take an airplane. Jeepers. Intrigue abounds. 15. You board your plane and enjoy the ride until the engine blows. The passengers start to panic, and so do you. The plane descends downward and crashes into Gorky Park. The end. Oh, that did not end well at all. Oh, I can't abide by that. We gotta try some. We gotta go back. Let's go back here. I don't want to die that quick. Okay, let's go back. We took an ocean cruiser. Let's take the rowboat this time. Let's take the rowboat. Let's go to page 3. You step into your rickety old rowboat and start rowing. After 9 hours, you hear the sounds of boards splitting. You think teenagers have rigged your poor boat. Oh, those teenagers. What do you do next? You give up, go to 10, hope for a miracle, 9, plug the hole. Oh, geez. Maybe we'll hope for a miracle. Let's see what happens. That sounds like a pretty bad predicament. Okay. Oh, this is longer here. You sit in your boat with your fingers crossed and are hoping for some sign of civilization in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You spot a yacht. Yelling for help, the men pull you aboard. As you step aboard, your rowboat falls apart. You thank the men and say you're headed for Moscow. The men have a worried look on their face. You say, "Is anything wrong?" One man replies, "Oh, nothing. You can have anything to eat on the yacht." You thank them and head for the refrigerator. As you open the door, you notice the Russian sickle and hammer. You are suspicious as you look at the rear of the yacht. There's a heavy tarp over some boxes marked diamonds. You realize the men are smugglers. "So," one of the men says, "you've discovered our secret." The man pulls out a revolver. "Come with us. If you brutaliate and use your judo skills." Brutaliate, is that retaliate in a very brutal way? Did I make up a word? Follow their orders. I'm not going to follow their orders. I'm going to brutaliate. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go to page 19. See how this Cold War epic ends here. What does it say? You begin to follow them. Then, with their backs turned, you land a vicious drop kick on one of the men, which knocks him out cold. The other man turns around, and you greet him with a judo chop. You lock both men in the cabin and head back to the United States. Well, no Tiger Emerald, but I guess maybe that deserves a sequel or something. I don't know. Anyway, I love Choose Your Own Adventures. I remember passing this around to other kids at school, and they were reading it, and they seemed to like it. So, yeah, that's 007 and the Tiger Emerald. All right, another installment of some Cold War humor and intrigue here from 1985. I got a typewriter from a garage sale in 6th grade, the summer of 6th grade. I think that's when I wrote this. This is the $6.95 Mutant, obviously a play on the $6 Million Man, and oh my gosh, typewriter. Okay, so this is a story about a mutant from the planet Mutitus named Martanovich. And there is a lot of fart jokes and a lot of KGB Cold War stuff. I'll just read some of this. This is a little bit longer, and it's not very good. So, once on the planet of Mutitus, there lived a little mutant named Martanovich, and confidentially, he never fit in. A real geek, if you know what I mean. He was often teased about his size and his ability to belch, sneeze, and hiccup uncontrollably. His only friend was Milanovich, his pet flea. So anyway, one day, Martanovich was outside doing positively nothing at all, which is not unusual in Martanovich's case, when all of a sudden his pet flea, Milanovich, passed gas and sent the whole planet into oblivion. All of his people were scattered to the farthest reaches of the universe. But he survived. He ended up in the United States, and the government wants to use him as a sort of like a super spy from another planet. And what is absolutely kind of crazy is that it's like a buddy comedy or like a buddy story, but his buddy is impressionist Rich Little, who, for those of you who are maybe not as old as I am, was sort of this B-list celebrity from the 70s and 80s who was sort of like, he was an impressionist. That was his shtick. So he did impressions of like celebrities and stuff. But he was on game shows and variety shows. He was kind of like everywhere. And I loved impressionists back when I was a kid. So he's a character in this story. So the Russians kidnap Rich Little and to entertain the Russian troops, and he and Martanovich the mutant are like trying to get away. And there's one decent piece of dialogue here. What is this? He's kidnapped by this guy named Khrushchev. But Mr. Khrushchev, I have a show to do tomorrow in Las Vegas, complains Rich. As you Americans would say, tough cookies. And as you Russians would say, if you can't stand the stench, get out of the Kremlin. I suggest you watch your tongue, Mr. Little, or I shall have it. All right, so this just goes on. There's like time travel, time warps, like fart explosions, and it just sort of ends where they rebuild him for $6.95 right there. Hence the $6.95 mutant. So they outfit him with superpowers, and he fights crime. So that is the $6.95 mutant. All right, and finally, here is a book that my friend Andrew and I tried to write. 1,001 Uses for a Dead Cabbage Patch Kid. Well, that's pretty ambitious. We probably should have just, maybe started out with like 25 or something like that. Because this one only, I ran out of gas at like 13. So this book was never finished. One phenomenon surely to be remembered as people reflect on the 80s, as the Cabbage Patch doll. They're cute, lovable, and downright expensive. What my co-writer and I mean by expensive is the price ranging anywhere in the area of $30. So we are merely poking fun at one of the most popular dolls in history. And we made up these blurbs like two of the greatest comedy writers of all time. Their special brand of humor is no doubt the funniest and most outlandish around, says the Washington Post, Chicago Sun-Times, and the Minneapolis Star and Tribune. So we were like totally wanted to be writers back in the day. So here are some uses for dead Cabbage Patch Kids. One involved like finding like ponytail doll Cabbage Patch dolls and making them into swings. Hand puppets, a weather vane, chop off their heads for lovely Christmas ornaments, pin cushion, Mr. Bill stunt double, and attach one to a cat's scratch post, and you have a new decorative one. Or cementing a bunch of them in a row and making a speed bump. Shark bait, flatten them as thin as paper to make use of lining a bird cage. Okay, So that was it. That's all I got. And we were setting out to do 1,001. So clear that we were overmatched, and the creative well ran dry on that one. So those are some of my earlier books, my first books.